Welcome to More For Me by yours truly, Kat Necole. What up, homie? What's going on? It's great to be back in the studio this week, trying to get back on my schedule, if you will. Little bits of a struggle, but welcome. If this is your first time joining us, I want to welcome you to the studio, to the Homieship. And if this is not your first time, welcome back. It's always a privilege and an honor to join you guys. Let's dig right in. Cutting to it today. Whew, straight. Uh-oh. My thoughts are a little rabbit-like, and it looks like I might go down a few holes. Let's reel it in, Kat. You can do it. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? Today, we are going to talk about being bold and being brave and saying things out loud. So, if you listen to last week's episode, you may recall, should recall. Let me clear my throat. French is looking at me like, this is exactly where I'm going to edit out that part. That was ridiculous. Welcome. All right. So if you listen to last week's episode, you recall that I talked about kind of reflecting and self-reflection being the best reflection. And so I continue to stay in that mode of reflecting. And one of the things that I realized about my most recent episode in Revelation that brought me to a great place to have some, what I deem as good nuggets and content to share with you guys, is that you have to say, I say sometimes, but like most of the things that run through your head, you got to say that stuff out loud. Because when you're inside your own thoughts in your mind, you're always right. Every now and again, that may not be true, but for the most part, that's a rabbit hole that you should not stay in by yourself and explore by yourself, because you will never come out. And I realized for myself that there were things that I was thinking and they just snowballed. And like, not that good snowball that knocks down your debt, like that bad snowball that's associated with the avalanche that's crushing and destroying things. And that is no bueno for anybody. And I was thinking about it like, literally, there are two reasons why you should say things out loud. One is for correction, and the other is for like confidence or confirmation. The correction part doesn't sound so cool. If you're like me, I have a strong desire and a draw to being correct, to being right. So being corrected is normally not a fun thing for me. However, because of negative seeds that can be planted in our minds and our hearts, if you don't invite somebody else in and share with them, this could be by way of a homie, a friend, a mentor, a parent, a counselor, literally a licensed counselor, to be able to communicate with someone and for them to help either show you a different perspective, to guide and or lovingly correct you. Notice I said lovingly. You need to find that healthy community and that safe space to do this in order for it to work effectively, I believe, and for it to be something that you welcome in the future. Because again, who really wants to be corrected? I'd prefer to be right. But all that to say, you have to, if it never comes out of your head, nobody has the opportunity to assist you. You don't necessarily have an opportunity to be challenged and to grow. So that's one of the things that I realized, I have to be much more consistent about sharing some of my thoughts, because sometimes those thoughts need to be corrected. It could be as simple as, I remember new mom days, like, I am not good at this. Like, based upon my own standards, I am sucking it up horribly, right? You start talking to other moms, they're like, oh, yeah, I had that, or same thing happened to me, or yeah, man, these kids, my kid did that same thing as well, right? And so to get out of my head and out of my thoughts and converse with somebody, I realized that this is a great point of correction, that I'm I'm not doing a terrible job as a first time mom, or it is normal to have these feelings or think this way, right? So that's one example on the correction side. And sometimes I I think a lot of times associated with our identity, which is why I talk so much about my relationship with God, right? And understanding, having a relationship with Him, understanding who He is and who He created me to be, being a very big piece of that, because our identity, we can get all twisted and bent out of shape and get it upside down, right side wrong about what we think about ourselves, who we are, and who we are capable of being. And sometimes you have to say that out loud so somebody can help you understand, point you in the right direction, to the source, that is, and what He says about you, what they see in you, the reality of what is. And that's another great point of correction nonetheless, but still can be a great thing. The other thing, when you say things out loud, I think there can be confirmation and support that's given to you, right? So there are negative, toxic things that you think that need to be corrected. But then there's also like hopes and dreams that need to be supported, and how you can be affirmed and people can confirm things that they see or that you may believe. And that one hit me because there's something that was in my heart, and it's like I desire this thing, but it's like, man, I kind of don't want to say it out loud. So you have a little bit of that, like, what if it doesn't happen? What if it doesn't come to pass? Or am I going to sound crazy? Because like I'm trying to believe God for something big. And so having the courage, being bold, being brave, to say those things out loud, even those things that you hope for, that you desire, the desires of your heart. And that way, that safe space, that healthy community that is supportive, right? When you share with those people in that core, as I like to call it, then you can be affirmed and encouraged along the way. And like, you know what? Have somebody come alongside you and be like, I'm believing God for that for you, right? I know God has big things for you, but being able to say those things out loud and not just stay in my head, right? Because I can think all day. I remember I remember when I wanted to, in college, that I had decided I wanted to become a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Now, none of my family members were Greek. And I did have an auntie, uh, and through marriage, but she's a member of the AKAs, but that was real weird, and I wasn't interested in that. So I didn't really consider that. But like none of my immediate family, my parents, my siblings, they were Greek, were they interested in it? And like we watched School Days and cracked jokes about it. But for me, it couldn't just be something that was in my head. It's something that was in my heart I really wanted to do. And so I started, my safe space was telling other ladies on campus that I had connected with, like, yo, this is something that I want for myself, before I had the courage to tell it to my family. But in talking with them on campus, other ladies that I had connected with, I was able to kind of be affirmed and supported. And I built up even more courage to share with my family, who cracked a lot of jokes. G5G. If you haven't seen School Days, it is a classic. You should check it out. But that was something that I couldn't just keep in my head, because I probably would have more so leaned on the reaction that I thought my family was going to have to this thing that was foreign and seemed like it was pointless or didn't have any value. It wasn't worth my time or effort. That I would have left it there and then shied away from it and never pursued it. But that wasn't the case, because I eventually spoke that out loud. I said it out loud, and I said it in a place where it was a safe space, a healthy community, and that I could be supported and challenged to continue to pursue what was in my heart. And so I think about a lot of the conversations that I have with people and what I hear about people close to me experiencing present day, even like as you look on social media and the news and stuff like that. A lot of it is because we have a lot of time, we spend a lot of time in our own thoughts, mind, just in isolation. And you can hang out and kick it with people all day, every day, but what you actually share with them. I remember in college, I was talking to somebody. It was when I was really growing and realizing that I was able to give people more, and I didn't have to be so fearful about deeper relationships in terms of friendships and stuff like that. But I told him, I was like, man, I talk all the time, but if you pay attention, I don't say much, right? I'm always talking, but the depth of what I'm saying, the intimacy of getting to know me, the fullness of Kat Necole, it wasn't necessarily there at first, right? So talking, but what are you saying? But making sure that you have that space, that time, and that capacity to share what's in your mind and in your heart. And whether that thing or those thoughts need correction or it's confirmation that you're getting from somebody and support, affirmation, either way it goes, there's value of being bold and being brave and speaking those things out loud. So that is all I have for this week. Be brave, be bold. Stuff inside your head, let it out your mouth. Give others around you and yourself an opportunity to grow and evolve, whether or not you're just being guided and given another perspective to view life and or the situation that you're facing, or if it's an opportunity for someone to encourage you to pursue wholeheartedly what is in your heart and the more that God has for you. I myself definitely am taking seriously that anytime it's just me and my thoughts and I stop sharing stuff with people, let me find somebody. And I need to make sure I take the time to say those things out loud. And that way, I don't look up and find myself in a stress ball by myself, even though I have a great community of support and love around me, and that I've been doing it on my own. Because for whatever reason, inside my head, I am generally always right. So thank you for tuning in this week. I appreciate you guys as always. Another opportunity and a point of growth for us and the homies on the Homieship. I pray that this episode gave you something to think about and to consider and to challenge yourself as we continue to grow, evolve, and develop into the people that God has called us to be on this journey of on this journey that we're traversing towards our destination of more. Until next week, remember that God has more for me. God has more for you. Now let's get it. Take care.